Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. Just read an interesting article. Cooners, that's K-U-H-N-E-R, Corner Media will turn Trump into the next Roy Moore. The judge's defeat shows the vast power of liberal propaganda. Well, it's not just liberal propaganda, it's conservative propaganda as well, including President Trump's daughter, Ivanka. Roy Moore's defeat spells doom for President Trump. The media establishment complex has now found its weapon to destroy insurgent conservatives. The hashtag #MeToo movement. This is the real meaning of the Alabama special Senate election. Democrat Doug Jones defeated the conservative Republican judge for one reason: the avalanche of allegations against Moore suppressed GOP voter turnout, enabling a radical pro-abortion and pro-Hillary extremists to win in the Bible Belt. If this doesn't reveal the immense power of liberal media propaganda, then nothing will. Again, it wasn't just the liberals, it was the conservatives as well. Think about it. The most prominent man in Alabama for over 30 years, who ran 5 statewide campaigns, was known for his outstanding moral character and principled decency, is now viewed as a pedophile, child molester, and serial sexual predator. A modern-day Jeffrey Dahmer. In fact, the media has so convinced Moore in the court of public opinion, CNN and MSNBC simply described him as a quote-unquote child molester and quote-unquote pedophile. He has received no due process. There has been no trial or verdict by a judge or jury, and most ominously, there was no evidence, not a skitchen, to back up the accusations of criminal behavior against him. Moore was a victim of the lynch mob media. Their strategy was obvious and ruthlessly effective. Sling enough mud at him, knowing eventually some of it will stick. It worked. The rabid anti-Trump paper, The Washington Post, owned by globalist billionaire and staunch Democrat Jeff Bezos, led the charge. The media claimed there were 9 victims. Most of them were not victims of sexual harassment or assault. They were teenage girls ranging in age from 17 to 19 who said Moore took them out on dates while he was in his late 20s or early 30s. Some of them said Moore asked for and received the permission of their parents. They also said he was a perfect gentleman who never engaged in sexual misconduct or predatory behavior. Hence, in the eyes of the media, Moore's transgressions were that he dated much younger women than he was. Me too. Okay? Me too. There is only one problem. Moore's conduct was common throughout the South over 40 years ago. Older men often dated younger teenage girls. For example, Elvis Presley dated his eventual wife, Priscilla, when she was only 14 and he was in his mid-20s. So was Elvis to be considered a child molester now? Moreover, this practice was common not only in Alabama and across the South, but in much of Europe. My Croatian grandfather was 30 when he married my grandmother, who was 15 years old. In Central and Eastern Europe, my grandfather's behavior was not unique, but prevalent. By liberal media standards, my granddad was a pedophile, and so were most of the men of his time. To be clear, I don't particularly care for the practice of older men dating teenage girls. In fact, I find it creepy and disgusting. But I'm also aware that I am the product of the late 20th century North American society, meaning my attitudes are informed by modern-day sensibilities. I am not narcissistic enough to fail to grasp the historical ignorance of applying modern values by bygone era and different cultures. The fact is, however, the reprehensible to the modern world, Moore's dating behavior was part of the cultural norm in Alabama of the 1970s. What he did was not illegal or criminal. The only 2 women who alleged real crimes against Moore were Beverly Young and Lee Kaufman Nelson. Said that when she was 16, an old 16-year-old waitress, he attempted to rape her outside the diner in his truck. As evidence, she presented a yearbook with the inscription for Moore. The media endlessly repeated the story to the point that it is now considered a given that Moore is a pedophile and sexual predator. This is the same lady that added the date in the yearbook. Yes, she lied. The liberal media deliberately ignored the fact that Nelson forged Moore's inscription. Under pressure, she even admitted it to be a forgery. Folks, this is what they're now starting to do against President Trump, if you haven't noticed. They're now focusing on him and his allegations with these women that have come forward. The exact same play that they executed in Alabama is going to be played against President Donald Trump. And I'm waiting for a couple of Republicans to join in, like that lame brain Johnny McCain and that Lindsey Graham and who knows whomever else. Just like they turned on Judge Roy Moore. Mitch McConnell. Mitch, we're going to have to hold an ethics hearing if he gets elected. Shut the hell up! You destroyed his candidacy to be the next senator for Alabama. You worthless pile of crap. 5 offices that piece of crap has. Mitch McConnell has 5 offices. What the hell for? Folks, what you saw play out in Alabama against Judge Roy Moore is now being played out against President Donald Trump. And the rhetoric is going to increase. You think not? You're entitled to your own opinion, as I am to mine. Thanks for listening.